Welcome back, I'm JPhobes and this is JPhobes Videos. For this video we're going to be talking about Raw and SmackDown. Why they need to split up again. Now, this is a video that I have wanted to talk about for a very long time. And they should have, really, Raw and SmackDown should have never been combined in the first place. Roster-wise at least. But since it happened, we're going to be using this video to talk about why they need to reverse it and have Raw and SmackDown have separate rosters again. Now, the first reason is because of competition. Now, SmackDown was created so that Raw would have some type of competition when WCW finally went away. And this is a good thing because it was interesting. It created brand rivalries. You would have Raw wrestlers sometimes invading SmackDown, SmackDown attacking the wrestlers. SmackDown would sometimes invade Raw. You would have Raw versus SmackDown when it came to Survivor Series for the Elimination Tag Team. It was fun. It was a great way to create competition. It was interesting. It was also another reason to tune in to SmackDown because with separate wrestlers, that meant different storylines. And this is basically reason number 2. With today, you can watch Raw and then maybe see Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, for example. And then tune in on SmackDown and you're seeing the same exact thing. You're seeing Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Or they might be in a 6-man tag, but it's basically still the same exact thing. You're still seeing 2 wrestlers competing against each other that competed on Raw in the same exact storyline. What's the point of tuning in? I honestly cannot remember the last time I have watched an episode of SmackDown. There's just absolutely no point. SmackDown is basically a rerun of Raw. I think the last time I watched an episode of SmackDown, and this is one of the biggest reasons why I stopped watching it, was because of how much replay footage they showed of Raw. Now, don't get me wrong, when Raw and SmackDown were separate brands, they would do the same exact thing. They would show replays from Raw, what would happen, and then they would also sometimes show, Raw would show replays of SmackDown as well. Because you had Raw the fans weren't separated, basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So it was just a great way of just reminding them, saying, hey, this is what happened on Monday, just in case you forgot. And that wouldn't be such a bad thing today, but the fact that it's almost constant. It's more replay of what happened than actual wrestling on SmackDown anymore. And in my opinion, this also can take a toll on the wrestlers as well, because think about it. SmackDown is taped. It's not live. It's taped on a Tuesday. And that follows Monday, of course. So, and let's say you have a pay-per-view on Sunday. You're going to have at least most of the roster competing 3 days in a row. That's a little too much, don't you think? To have somebody competing 3 days in a row, that's a little too much. That can really hurt the wrestler. That can lead them to getting more injuries. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I need to split the brands up again, so you can let the wrestlers rest a little bit. Because before, when you had it, you just, Raw wrestlers would compete on Monday. The SmackDown wrestlers would compete whenever the show is taped, and then they would compete at their pay-per-views. And that was another cool thing as well, was the pay-per-views were separate as well. SmackDown would have their own pay-per-views. I think one of theirs was Armageddon, I believe. I believe that was a SmackDown pay-per-view. And then the month before, Raw would have like Backlash. I believe that was a Raw pay-per-view as well. So that was another cool thing. That was a way of having these brands have their own separate pay-per-views to once again compete against each other. And the only time you would actually see them combined was when you were at like the big pay-per-views like SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and then like WrestleMania. So that was always fun to see. It was always cool to be able to tune into the different pay-per-views because you knew you're going to see a different storyline that you wouldn't see on Raw's pay-per-view or SmackDown's pay-per-view. That's something that I would love to see them do. Now, I'm going to change things up a little bit though. Why not get rid of SmackDown completely and instead